The high school football playoffs are here. We are here
Yeah.
for our fearless forecast. I'm Ronnie Woodward. Here's Tony Castleberry and Jim Gentry. Regular season's over and 5 Pitt County teams made the playoffs,
Yep.
guys. And the draw wasn't kind to our local teams here. It looks like it's a tough matchup starting from week 1. So looks like a good slate of games Friday. Start us off, Tony. The first game, a familiar opponent or two, familiar teams here, but North Pitt travels to Washington.
Yeah, and teams on very different arcs right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
A North Pitt team that kind of fell apart once league play started. 1-4 in their last 5 games. I don't know if any of us expected that. We kind of thought maybe, they would finish better than 6-5 at the end of the regular season. Washington, on the other hand, riding sky high. 9-2, look really good, undefeated in their league, only allowing 8.2 points a game, which is incredible for any high school defense. Going to be a tough road for North Pitt for sure.
There's no doubt. North Pitt did keep that game close.
Yeah, they were leading at one point.
But Washington's strong for sure.
Yeah.
Who are you picking?
I'm going to have to pick Washington. Home field just seemed like a better team now. I'm going with the Pan Pack.
All right, Jim.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Pan Pack as well. I just think right now they're playing so well. It's going to take North Pitt's best effort to beat them. I'm going to go with the Pan Pack.
I covered this game when they played in the regular season. Like I said, North Pitt led at halftime. They hung with them, but I think Washington's too strong as well. I'm going with the Pan Pack and possibly a close game, but I'm going with Washington. Jim, next game, Farmville Central is at Eastern Randolph, a long trip.
Yeah, this is crazy, isn't it?
It is.
It's funny how this is an East game, and now they got to go travel to a school located near Ashboro.
With a worse record than them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Farmville Central's 8-2, Eastern Randolph is 7-4.
I know, it makes no
There's the
sense.
playoffs for you.
And that's the bad thing about finishing third in that conference. The way these seedings work. But Farmville Central's coming off a very impressive performance
I
against North
agree.
Pitt, where they just really dominated. They had a couple of miscues early in the game, and gave away a couple touchdowns. But after the last 3 quarters was pretty much all Farmville. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
They have 3 guys that can run for 100 yards at any time.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with the Jaguars. They really just dominated that game. The problem is, how's that drive going to affect them going all the way to Eastern Randolph? It's just one of those things that's always hard to tell. It's the longest trip of the year.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you got to make that and play a playoff game.
Yeah, definitely a tough task. What's your pick?
I hate that drive for them. I'm still going to take the Jaguars in this one. I think they're going to go down there and get the upset. We're talking about 10th versus 7th seed. It's pretty close. But I like the Jaguars' chances. I was really impressed with the way they played last week.
All right, I agree with you completely. I think it's a tough trip. Farmville kind of has everything going against it, but I'm going with Farmville. I think they're a little underseeded. I think they're better than a 10 seed.
That's a good point.
Definitely.
So I'm going with the Jaguars. I think they're a better team. They shake off the travel. So.
I like what both you guys said, and I'll add that I feel like that trip is something that these guys, since they haven't been in the state playoffs in a long time, they're going to be geeked no matter what.
True.
You know what I'm saying? I would imagine that they're going to come out fired up no matter where they had to play. So as tough as that ride is going to be, I feel like they'll be fired up, and they're playing great football right now. So I'll pick Farmville Central too. We'll make it a sweep.
Okay. Next game, similar to the last one we just had. Fairmont is at Ayden-Grifton, even though Fairmont's 8-3, Ayden-Grifton is 5-6.
It's crazy.
But hey, the Chargers won their league.
They did.
They've won 5 in a row. So obviously, winning your conference is key for getting playoff seeding and playing at home. Ayden-Grifton took care of its business in the league, and it gets a home game. R.J. Nelson's on fire right now for Ayden-Grifton running the ball. Drew Turnage is running well, as well. But Fairmont's a good team. I mean, they're coming in, has some momentum as well. So I think this is a close game. There's no doubt. Ayden-Grifton, an interesting note, attempted 1 pass last week in this game.
That's Cornwell football, baby.
Obviously, Fairmont defense needs to be ready for a running attack, and that's probably the key to the game is how how Ayden-Grifton does running the ball, because that's obviously their bread and butter at this point. My pick in that one. I hate to do it to the Chargers, but I think I'm taking Fairmont. I kind of looked at this slate of games and I'm gonna take one upset. I think it's Fairmont just because their record and they've played some strong competition. I think Fairmont comes in and wins a close one.
Interesting. I feel like Ayden-Grifton with the home field is going to help. And I looked here, and the losses that Fairmont's had, they were huge losses. And Ayden-Grifton's offense is one that when it really gets going, they can just crush the will of a defense. When that offensive line gets a push, when they run the ball the way they did, like you said last week, I feel like that'll be enough for the Chargers to win, but I think it'll be a close game.
All right, Jim.
I think I'm gonna go with Fairmont. This is gonna be a tough one too, but that Fairmont team's really weird. They gave it up 40 points a couple times.
Yeah.
They also have 3 shutouts.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
What do you
bizarre,
pick,
know,
right?
so it's kind of a tough matchup, but we're also talking about another team that has to go on the road and get a win.
Yeah.
And a tough place to get a win. A little
Yeah.
bit, it's gonna be tough. There's gonna be a ton of people out there Friday night. I think Fairmont escapes with a close win, gets the upset in that one.
Okay. Tony, next game to preview. E.E. Smith is at D.H. Conley.
Yeah, I know nothing about E.E. Smith. I do know that Conley is fired up for this playoff run, I would
Yeah.
imagine. They're 9-2. Any team that can beat Newbern gets my respect because that just doesn't happen that often. Conley was able to do that, and they beat Rose in the same season too.
Sure.
A good Rose team. Conley's flying high. The return of Gorham has given that team even more of a burst, and they were already pretty high powered.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Conley's probably going to get a win there.
Okay. You picking the Vikings?
I'm
obviously?
picking the Vikings.
Okay. All right, Jim.
I'm picking the Vikings as well. I don't think this will be much competition for Conley. I think they've just been biding their time for the playoffs. So I
Yeah.
think they're just ready to go and get this going, and I think they'll mow through this team.
All right, I'm going with Conley as well. Tony, you did mention we don't know a lot about E.E. Smith. It is a Fayetteville school.
True.
Those schools, Jack Barrett, Terry Sanford, all those,
71st.
those schools usually beat up on each other, then usually are strong in the playoffs. I don't think that's the case with this one, however. Bam Staten's really emerged for Conley.
Yeah, he has.
I think Conley keeps it rolling and goes into next week. Our last game here, another interesting one. It seems like maybe
It
the
is.
closest one
Yeah.
of this group, Jim. J.H. Rose travels to Pine Forest.
Yeah, it's a 9-2 Rose team against a 10-1 Pine Forest team. 6-11 seeds playing each other. Rose is on a bit of a run until that Newbern game.
Yeah.
Again, play Newbern pretty tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's one of those things where you look at both teams and their losses are all against tough competition.
True.
Both
Yeah.
teams' defenses have played really well. I think this is really a toss-up. This is what you mentioned as probably the closest game of the week. I really think it will be. I
Yeah.
mean, just look at the records. Rose is 9-2 and they're 11th seed.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that's
ridiculous.
crazy.
They really got hurt by finishing third in that
Oh,
league,
they
as we
did.
discussed.
Yeah.
Behind 2 really good teams.
Yeah.
That's one of those deals though. You're talking about there's only 4 4A teams.
Yeah.
Rose is 9-2, finishes third out of 4. I mean,
Yeah.
this is brutal.
Yeah. All right, I know you have to make a pick there.
Oh
so you
yeah,
go
I'm
ahead.
going to because I'm picking Rose because I want to see Rose and Conley play each other in
I
the second
agree.
round of the playoffs. So I'm picking Rose in this one for no other reason than I want to see a rematch between those two teams.
Right on.
How awesome would that be?
That would be
Yeah.
pretty great.
Week 2 of the playoffs here
Yeah.
in Pitt County, place would go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An even bigger crowd than the regular season
Yeah.
game,
Oh
maybe.
yeah, no kidding.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to mention it and I forgot. But yeah, if Conley wins and Rose wins, they play each other in the next round. I agree with Jim. I'm going with the Rampants. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be close. They're going to have to really, really play well, but I'll go with Rose in an upset.
I am going to be the party pooper and pick the 10-1 Pine Forest team, and I'm going to do it for this reason. The schedule could not be nicer for them. They didn't have to play last week.
That's a
How
good
awesome was
point.
that?
I mean,
That's
that worked
ridiculous.
out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They host the game. I just feel like I'm basing it on the record and a bye week, folks. So take it for what it's worth. But I'm picking Pine Forest.
All right, nice. Well, there's some good picks. Obviously, good games this week. Check it out. Playoff action games. So make sure you go see one. Checkreflector.com.